Morning all. How are we all doing? Hello, Christian, Philip, Kennelly, Amy, Danny, It's Time, JC, Fred, Day Trader, Alan, Ian. Not bad. Got through quite a few there. Morning, Gregors. AZ again. No, didn't see you before. David, how you doing? Morning, Evans. So we're going to go through news. I'm going to be as fast as I can today because I've got a delivery coming this morning, unfortunately, which I have to take. Shopping, nothing exciting, but it's coming at some point in the next hour. So I'm going to have to stop the stream basically when that arrives. So I'm going to try and whiz through everything as fast as I can this morning. So just to get through it basically and do the analysis because they could turn up at any minute. Morning, Outro. How you doing? So just quickly starting off with news. We had the retail sales. Sorry, no, we didn't. We had the CPI for the Aussie dollar this morning. Came out as expected, which I wasn't expecting because most countries aren't getting their CPI right at the moment. So they've actually managed to hit it straight on the head with a forecast. So if you look at the Aussie dollar pairs this morning, we've had a slight decline in the Aussies, a little bit of a dip across the board. Nothing dramatic though, so not really a lot of movement. It's an as expected news event. So as expected news events don't tend to actually do an awful lot at the moment, obviously, because there's no reason for the market to change because they haven't got it right or wrong. So there's no indifference there no differential basically for them to address. So no impact off of that this morning. There's no news today. We've got core durable goods. That's it. So we've actually got Jordan speaking later. Now that might shake up the Swiss franc. It's very, very rare that the Swiss National Bank come out and talk. You won't see them appearing on the Forex Factory calendar very often. So we might get some movement out of that later for the Swissy. There'll be a lot of questions as to why didn't you increase interest rates, basically. Just see where he's talking and just see if there is a press conference off the back of it. Yeah, it's a panel. So yeah, we might get a decent prod into Jordan, basically, to see if we can find out what happened with the Swiss interest rates. So other than that, there's no news today. So it's just business as usual. We're waiting for the CPI figures for the euro tomorrow. Morning, Virginia. News overnight. Nothing much happened overnight. We've had the Bank of Japan talking again. I'm just seeing if there's anything else about FX in here. We should have something somewhere. Interesting. Nothing about FX movements from the Bank of Japan. Obviously, they said it yesterday, so maybe they don't need to say it again because they actually said it yesterday. They came out and said, oi, stop poking our currency. Yeah, nothing else overnight. So no overnight news to worry about. That US dollar yen yesterday, we did spike up. I did take a short on it. We came back down, got the reversal, and now we're sitting within yesterday's range. So we'll see today whether or not we get any further progress on it. Every piece of progress we get tends to stall, and then a tiny little push, and then a stall, etc., etc. So I'm going to leave that big orange square on there because that is my forecast intervention move. So it'd be interesting to see if we get the intervention, whether or not it's roughly where I think it's going to go. Just as a game. Anyway, but afternoon, John. Morning, even. So that's the yen. We've got 3 minutes to the open. There's no ADRs today. So the only ADRs I was expecting this morning to wake up to were the Aussies and the New Zealands. We're flat because that Australian dollar news was not news. So we haven't gone anywhere. So there's no ADRs to look at. Nothing's hit its weekly range. We're on Wednesday again. We're still contracted in these ranges. We're not getting any big movement. So again, Wednesdays, normally by Wednesday, we're looking at something and going, oh, look, we've hit our weekly range. It's just not happening. And it hasn't been happening for weeks. It's just pitiful, this contraction that we got. Pound New Zealand ADR, still the highest at 140. Yeah, we should be looking at 200s, 300s on these numbers. It's just not moving at the minute. Monthlies we've already looked at, but we are end of the month. So we are going in now to Wednesday. We've got 2 more days left for trading in this month. So if they need to balance books, they need to exit positions. From today onwards is when we're going to get that volume coming through. So we will see. We've got news events for them to use to make these big moves, mainly the CPI figures for the euro, and we've got GDP and unemployment for the US. This German one is a tricky one. The euro is very unstable tomorrow because the German CPI, Germany consists of multiple states. They don't release a single figure. They release an individual figure for each state in Germany. And Germany is the main CPI figure that we're interested in for the euro. So it's a tricky release, the CPI, because they don't get the accumulated. It's a bit like an election where you get that state's results, that state's results, that state's results, and then you don't actually know the outcome until we've got all the states in. So it will be a tricky day tomorrow, but once that final figure is in, we'll get some decent idea as to what's going on with inflation in the Eurozone. So that's news. That's ADRs, that's the weeklies. RSIs, we've still got the same stuff extended. We'll have a look at those in a second. But we'll whiz over and look at the DAX. The DAX, basically, we have another big down day yesterday. We've gapped up this morning, so we've got a gap fill initially in play. However, we've still got the gap fill from yesterday in play because we didn't do the gap fill. So we've got this gap fill in play to the upside, which will be upside target today, which is ADR. Downside target obviously is there. So we'll see where we go. That's your pre-market range, just broken to the downside. Don't you think you would have got on that? Look at that spread. Wow. That's a big spread this morning. So don't forget also, we've still got this big upside gap target as well, which we just don't seem to be going anywhere near it. We're running away from it. This is the first time I think I've seen a gap which has lasted this long without a fill, and we're rallying away. So it's going to take months to get back to that. So that's gone. I'm ignoring that for the minute. Don't think that's triggered this morning. You'll be lucky to get into that on the opening range breakout EA because the orders wouldn't have been triggered in time. That market moved far too quick this morning. So you've missed that. Gap fill's done. I'll just check my account, but I think that's a no-go this morning. Yeah, didn't get the order on. Happened far too quick. I'm going to leave. So that stop loss, I'm just going to remove that stop. I'm going to leave that buy stop in place because if that gap fill gets completed and we find support at yesterday's low, which is where we're potentially going to get the limit orders triggering, I'm anticipating a gap fill play today for yesterday's gap. So yesterday's high is there, obviously, just below where the previous day's close was. That's ADR today. So that is a really nice long opportunity to get up into there today. But we'll see what sort of reaction we get at yesterday's low. Morning, Robert. Thought feeder. Yours triggered in the DAX, did it? Well done. So that's a pre-market you got triggered on, did you? Okay, cool. Yeah, I couldn't get it on. Too fast. It's going to depend on your broker. Basically, if you're trading on a demo account, you will find... And this is the difference a lot often between demo and live. If you're trading on a demo account, often you will find that you will get triggered on these things because they're not filling orders. They're just basically showing you the charts, and basically everything is faster on a demo because there's no transaction actually going on. So if it's on a live account, you got triggered on it, well done. Your broker must be super, super fast, but I couldn't get it on this morning. So there's your gap fill done. So watch this. If you are short on the pre-market today, I would just be careful because obviously once the gap fill is done, there's no unfinished business in that area. We've also got yesterday's low, which was the close as well, where we're probably going to find them buying up. So just watch this area. You might find that just springs straight back out this morning. So just be a little careful, a little wary. You might want to protect it if you haven't taken profit on it, but see how you get on. Live account, change the offset a bit on the EA. Yeah, it may have helped. this is the whole thing with this strategy. You're never going to get the same results as in a back test because the conditions at every open are always different, aren't they? So, but downside potential today on the DAX, as you can see. So just looking at these levels. So these levels here, these orange lines that I've got on the chart here, are previous highs and lows we've reacted at multiple times. On the DAX going back into sort of this year, basically January to March time when we were last down in this area. So these are the reaction points, these orange areas. This is the last low before we break down and come back down into this zone here, which is here. So that is the previous resistance and support. So if we break this area today, it's kind of a free fall pretty much down to 350 ADR from where we are now. So we're obviously not going to hit that today, but we're at kind of last chance saloon here. So we've had some nice reactions at these levels. So these levels that I drew in, you can see we had a lovely bounce there, limit order triggers. Then we had limit order triggers at this level. Today, it's this level. We've got big, strong push down here. So, so far this week, we've been doing nothing but selling off. End of last week, we did nothing but sell off. So in fact, we've had a week of sell off, basically. Chances are we're going to get a bounce play today. And obviously, we've got upside gap to complete here, which would be a nice shallow retracement. So it looks very good for a long today, but we'll see where we go. So there we go. There's your 5-minute opening range in. So if you're going to take a break of the 5-minute ORB, I'd be wary about taking a short. But, you know, we're selling off at the minute, so it could just continue to do so. Let's have a quick look at the US indices and see what they're doing as well. Pretty much the same as the DAX, which you'd expect because the DAX is in charge. So I like the buy today. Right, FX. So overnight news, obviously we had the Australians, which didn't do anything. The RSIs we've got in place are pretty much the same as yesterday. US dollar yen obviously hasn't moved. So I got itchy nose. We're still inside bar on yesterday's range at the moment. So no movement overnight on these yen pairs. Actually, we had a little bit of move down on the New Zealand. Yeah, so the Aussie pairs you probably have had a move down on. Off the news, but everything else basically, as you can see, we kind of haven't gone anywhere on those. So Aussie is the other one that's probably pushed down a little bit, which it has. So there's nothing, as you can see, nothing extended on the end. Swiss yen actually is extended, isn't it? Oh, that's because of the Swiss franc interest rate. So Swiss franc interest rate obviously drove that straight down, but that's your only extended yen pair at the moment. So good opportunity for a long play on that one back up into that area. The Swiss franc is due to have some kind of pullback into that interest rate decision. Maybe that we get that happening this afternoon with Jordan. So 5:45 that is. It's late on in the day, but we may well get some movement on the Swiss franc back there. So just going through these, I'll go through them in reverse order because we've got the strongest at the bottom at the moment. So US dollar Swiss, I've got 2 positions on this one at the moment. The Swiss franc interest rate move, as you can see here, they retested that propulsion and pushed straight out of it. They have not stopped since. So Swissy is very well known for being very erratic with its movement. We get big, strong pushes through it when the market needs to put money into a safe haven. At the moment, there's not a lot of real reason to be doing that, but it will get a power up at some point, always does. So just waiting on that. So it's a lovely big move. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 day up push. We're looking just for some kind of ADR pullback on that one to get out. Swiss yen we've just looked at. Sorry, I'm going back the other way, aren't I? New Zealand dollar Swiss extended to the upside. 2 positions on that one still. Looking for a push back down into propulsion into here. It could well easily come straight back down and retest this area. So now the New Zealand dollar obviously and the Aussie dollar overnight, we got that expected interest rate, or sorry, inflation figure. So there's no real bullish or bearish bias off of that. The Australasian pairs aren't particularly strong at the moment. They've had a little bit of a rally over the last few days. Last week, they've had a couple of good strong days, but nothing particularly exciting. So there's no reason why we shouldn't just get normal market structure forming on these. However, that euro, if we get decent CPI figures off the euro tomorrow, we're going to see some power in that Swiss franc, which will give them an opportunity to undo all of this move. So we could find ourselves easily back down here tomorrow, if not even further. So we could look at multiple ADR moves. It's going to need those euro figures to come out positive, though. So Spanish CPI and the German CPI. So those are the key ones, mainly the German. So if that CPI figure goes up, it will put more inflationary pressure on Lagarde to put interest rates up, which will be bullish for the euro because we didn't get that bullish move off the last interest rate move. So we should get some decent movement, but we're going to need positive figures there. So we'll see what happens with that one, but that's nicely extended. We are completely sideways now. We haven't had a reversal alert yet, so waiting for a push down. We did get one yesterday there. Just about, that's a double top, so we would have just about got a reversal alert yesterday on it there, but my initial entry was on the RSI extension back there. We were still extended on RSI on Monday, and then we started to go nowhere yesterday, which means obviously we get a pullback on the RSI. So that's a good looking short, still in that one. Pound US dollar, as we know, absolutely caning it at the minute. Can't get any traction on this thing at all. It is just relentless. I don't know where all this weakness is coming from in this pound. It's just, if you look at the pound Swiss as a good gauge, this is the Swiss interest rate move. So the pound obviously rallied against the Swissy. It undid the entire thing because the pound is so unbelievably weak. It's as weak as the Swiss franc is yet, and the Swiss franc have just not increased their interest rates. We haven't increased ours either, obviously. So it's the same sort of thing. But the pound is just dying. It literally can't get an update. So pound US dollar is obviously pound US dollar. Pretty much most of these pounds have been extended on the 4 hour below the 70 level on or off pretty much every day. So we have bottomed out yesterday, and today on, sorry, that's pound CAD, but we'll look at that as well. Pound US. So we've bottomed out on the pound US so far today. It's had a reversal alert. We've had reversal alerts before, but the difference between this reversal alert and the others is it's a potential support. I can't even get to it. Look, it's so far away. That's that last low we identified. So this is the yearly low, basically. This is this year's low, February's low. Yeah. So we've got this other area that we've identified for support and resistance, which is where we're at now. If this fails, we're going back down to there. So if we are going to get to there, you would expect some kind of pullback to gather power to get down to that level. Yeah. So this is what we're aiming for, this year's low, potentially returning to that at some point this year if we continue that stance. And there's no weakness that comes through in this US dollar. So, but you know, normally you would get a pullback. We haven't had it. It's just been grinding and grinding and grinding, and then it's negative news, negative news, negative news, positive news, positive news. It's just the absolute perfect storm. Unbelievable strength, but we are really embedded now below that 20 level on the 4 hour RSI. The hourly, as you can see, for the last few days, we are just embedded, stuck. Yeah, it's just abnormally weak. So we need some catalysts to drive this at the minute. And the main news we've got that's going to affect this is going to be the GDP and unemployment tomorrow. So for the US, if these figures come out as positive, it's probably going to either maintain its strength or slightly power up. So we're looking for the GDP not to incline on the US tomorrow, but to decline. And we're looking for those unemployment claims to go up. They are forecast to go up. So if we can get them to go up more than forecast, that will give the US dollar a little bit of weakness. assuming we do have a little strength tomorrow in the pound, we may be able to get a move started. If there's no strength in the pound, though, tomorrow, and we get weak US numbers, we're just not going to go anywhere. But you know, it's sort of sideways, but it's not really slowing down if you look at it. What we tend to look at is a rounding bottom formation starting. So when you get these declines like this, you're looking for the sellers to just basically start to weaken and then to basically go back the other way. We're not even getting that. It's like an arrow. Look at this, the actual range that we're in here is so unbelievably tight. I mean, you just don't see price action like this. It's tight and it's bearish, and there's no buyers, literally no buyers at all in this currency at the minute. Absolutely bizarre. So we got a reversal alert. What we need is that inverse. We need a news event that's going to kick this back the opposite direction. As soon as that starts and we get some kind of confirmation, everybody that's been shorting this, banks, institutions that have got these big positions on, will start to exit, and it will just snowball and get going. But you need that catalyst. We've just not received one. We've just had the news coming out opposite ends. We've had just nothing, have we, on it? So it's stuck. But you know, it will come to an end. It's just a case of when. You just don't know, do you? So, and same for the pound New Zealand. We've had a good grind down on that, as you can see. So I'm in long on this one. Got 2 positions on this one at the moment. It's pretty much close to break even. But again, same story. We need something from the pound. What we really need, and what typically tends to happen, is when you get these types of moves, you get your central bank coming out and trying to rally the market. Bailey is totally silent. If you get, you know, your job is to look after the central bank of the UK. If our currency is declining at the rate it's declining at, and you're making us poorer and poorer and poorer and poorer against the biggest currency that we transact in, come out and say something about it. Not doing it. We haven't had anything from Bailey, and there's nothing forecast either. So Bank of England totally letting us down at the moment, but nothing you can do about it. You're stuck. So pound New Zealand, we have had a a reversal alert. So structure is shifting. We've got a nice propulsion move which has just gone in, which they hopefully will retest today and get that move started back to the upside. So if we can get other pound pairs going as well, you know, that gives the market confidence in the pound. If they see the rest of the pound pairs rallying, if we get that weak US news, we'll get all these moves kicking off. But pound yen extended to the downside on the 4-hour as well. Wouldn't want to be longing anything against the yen at the moment. So up to you if you want to take it. But just bear in mind, we've got that intervention hanging over us. It's a risky time to be buying anything against the yen at the moment. Pound CAD, very similar to the pound US, extended and embedded on the 4-hour, just because of this continuous rally. We got some volatility yesterday. Look, so we had a nice volatile session yesterday on the pound CAD. And sideways movement. It's held this morning so far. If we can get that reversal alert and we can break yesterday's high and hold it, i.e. on a daily time frame, get a bullish engulfing, a bullish candle, anything bullish. We just haven't had anything bullish, have we? Look at these candles. Down day, down day, down day, down day, down day, down day, down day. Yesterday, we had a doji, first reversal sign we've had for over a week. Yeah. And I can go back further with down days. Yeah. It's just giving us an inkling of hope, basically, that there might be some strength coming through in this and a profit take move starting on it. But anyway, pound CAD, good opportunity still for longs. Already long on it, though. Got 3 on that one. Nicely spaced out on that one. So it's going to take a pretty decent 50% retracement to actually get me out of that. Euro US dollar, same as the pound US dollar. Euro's been weak, but this is what we're normally used to. Yeah, market structure. Yeah, this is what we want. Some kind of structure. Yeah, there's an out there. There's an out, not there, but there's an out there. Yeah, you can get out of stuff. Look, I got out of this. No problem. Yeah, because we're getting structure, we're getting pullbacks, we're getting profit take moves. That's what we're lacking at the moment on the pound US dollar, because the US has just been so relentless. So Euro US dollar still extended on the 4, so there's still an opportunity to get in long on that one. We're looking for some kind of profit take to start on this move. Again, similar to that or that or that, just some structure. Yeah. Got a nice support coming up as well at ADR today. So Euro US dollar, this area here is ADR. So lovely looking potential support bounce where we might find buyers as well on Euro US. So again, drop down, M15, wait for those reversal. I think you've already had it this morning, actually, the reverse alert. Yeah, it's already gone in this morning on the 15-minute time frame. So nice W pound reversal there. Euro Swiss. So nice reversal alert, already gone in on that one. That's extended to the upside on the 4-hour. We're finding a little bit of Swiss franc strength coming through. If you go through all these Swissies, CAD Swiss coming down a little bit this morning, Swiss yen pushing up a little bit this morning. So initially this morning, we've got a little bit of strength coming through on the Swiss franc. See if we can get a continuation on it. But that one's extended to the upside. So again, we're looking for a pullback into propulsion. We've obviously not retested this area because this is the interest rate rise, and this Swiss franc's been weak since we had the interest rate rise, or rather the decline, or rather a stable, isn't it? We got the interest rate as it was before. We didn't get the rise that was forecast, basically. So pullbacks on that. Swiss yen I've already covered, and the CAD Swiss, which is just another relentless beast. 3 weeks, 4 weeks solid up now. So if you count that week as well, which was kind of a sideways week, but this is what I'm talking about with a rounding bottom. Yeah, that's the rounding bottom pattern. So when you get a big sell, typically when a trend changes direction, you get a rounding bottom. It doesn't come down and go like that all the time. It grinds back up. Yeah, so we're just running out of sellers and then finding that we get that fast ejection when everybody that's short flips long. So we've got 1, 2, 3. This is week 4. Looking for a pullback, 24.72. We're absolutely miles away from that moving average. We're 155 pips, 3 ADR away from the 24 moving average on the daily. Yeah, it's that one there, you can see that was 180. Then after that, we had the profit take. Yeah. We're just waiting for that profit take move. Easy to get out of. It's just not giving them to us at the minute, is it? It's just the market's just got into grind mode. But the problem with it is there's no volatility. Look at them. Yeah. They're parabolic, but there's no volume. We're not hitting ADR when we're doing these. We're just moving up permanently. There's no movement to hit ADR to make a negative move start. It's just constant buying or constant selling is what we're experiencing. Just odd, not normal. Oil yesterday again rallied strong for the Canadian dollar. So we had that move back up again yesterday. We looked like we were coming down to do that 38 retracement, and again we got the bounce. This morning we've broken up. We've got this resistance here out of that propulsion gap, which may well hold. It's oil inventories at 3:30 this afternoon. It's Wednesday, so we get oil inventories every Wednesday at 3:30. So today, potentially, we can start that next leg up into retesting that area, or we will be pushing back down and holding this range. I still think there's downside on this. I don't think we are going to be able to get all the way up to $95 a barrel without pulling back, but it is a 23. Yeah, it's a shallow retracement. So we had it last time, didn't we? We had the accumulation for an entire week. Then we put a new leg in. We've dropped this time and gone into an accumulation. So it could well be that the next leg starts from here, and when we break that high, we're going. If oil inventories today drive the price higher, that could well be the start of it. If oil inventories drive price lower, it could be the continuation of pullback into this area, which is what we were looking for. Get long. So again, oil's tricky. Everything's tricky. It's all tricky at the minute. Not normal movement. unfortunately. Right, let's go back over to the DAX. Okay, so we did hold the gap. So hopefully you got out on the gap fill. As I said, just, highly likely we were going to buy that gap up today because we got that target to the upside. So I shall be looking for a break of that high to go long today. I'm not going to get into a short today. So there's so much room to flush if it goes short. If it does go short, it's going to flush. But I get the feeling we're probably going to hold this. The Euros, the DAX is quite possibly going to have a rotation day today because we're going to wait for the Eurozone CPI figures to come out tomorrow. So tomorrow morning's DAX is also going to be quite a tricky open because we will probably not get a lot of volume. It depends what time we get the preliminary, the CPI figures coming in for Germany tomorrow. If we look at the last one, August the 30th was the last time. Oh, where are we? Typical. Haven't got it. I've only got to the 18th. What was one before that? July 28th. So this is the last CPI. Yeah. So rotation. Yeah. And then we get the figures coming through and then we get the move. So that's a typical move while the market is waiting. Yeah, we just go into rotation. We're waiting for the news to come and then the news gives you the move. So we'll see. But I think maybe we might get a rotation day to day. We might get a rotation tomorrow morning as well. But there will be a move afterwards. So possibly better to wait until we've got that figure and take the break that goes from that figure tomorrow. We'll see. Right. There we go. That's all I've got. Morning, Surasyang. Welcome aboard. Thanks for subscribing. Surasyang? I don't know. I'm rubbish with names. Morning, Marco, Neo, Guna. Morning. Pound US dollar spent a good part of the time consolidating yesterday. One. Yeah, I mean we had a long sideways move yesterday after the dip. So when the market kind of kicked in yesterday, we had that initial sell-off and then went, as you say, nowhere, and then the US drove it back down further. So this is what I'm saying. This is what we're getting at the minute. We are getting the market movement at the moment isn't normal. Normal market movement is push, pull, push, pull. That's what we're used to. That's what we have had forever. What we're getting at the moment on some of these pairs is literally nothing at all. News event, nothing at all. News event, nothing at all. Yeah, or a push by a bank, nothing at all. Yeah, there's just no push and pull happening at all at the minute. The market, I think, at the minute is just stuck on these interest rates. As I said, I've said for the last couple of months, until we get some guidance, the market uses scorecarding systems to gauge the future movement. Yeah, and this is what COT is. The COT report is basically the market's quarterly predictions for market movement. Yeah, so they are predicting the Australian dollar to drop over the next 4 to 12 weeks. They're expecting the Canadian dollar to drop over the next 4 to 12 weeks, etc., etc. At the moment, that is not changing. The COT report isn't changing. If you go and look at the historical COT, it's just sideways because there's no forward guidance, and the COT data has always been fairly reliable for sort of top-down analysis because there's always been guidance offered by central banks as to what is going on with this, that, and the other. And there's always been a bias established because of one being better or worse than the other. At the moment, we don't have that bias. We have everybody at peak. And we hit peaks in the last 3 months. So the last 2 months we've had of sideways movement has been caused by there being no forward guidance from the banks and total confusion as to whether or not we are at these peak interest rates. And the thing that's driving it is the CPI. And when you get these CPI figures coming out not as expected as we've seen from the pound, it's collapsing because they're expecting these interest rates to come down, because if they don't, they're going to cause a housing market crash. So at the minute, I think we've just got radio silence, which obviously doesn't help anybody, and the banks are used to being told what to do. Yeah, we've got this happening. Economy's looking good. CPI is good. We're at our 2% target. This is happening. That is happening. And they can just go, right, well, that will mean that this will happen. They haven't got a clue. So what we're seeing is just sideways contracted movement and not a lot of volatility. But when you are getting that volatility, it's one-sided. And it's just causing these huge prolonged moves, which, you know, unless you get a news event, it's going to be very difficult to find an exit. So very weird. Are these videos available to view after the stream? Yeah, it's all on the YouTube channel. So if you go to the channel, go to live, you will see. If you really want to spend your entire life watching me, you can go back years, but they're all there. Hey, look, I changed my logo. It's all on the website. Well, on YouTube or the website, whichever you want. Okay, DAX gap fill rejection is underway. Market structure shifting long. So I'm going to take a break at that high. If we can get up to there. To hedge or not to hedge? Because I haven't got a stop loss, I kind of do need to hedge this short just in case. I'll wait and see what the break's like when we get it. Bailey never speaks, useless. Yeah, no. When he does speak, he does what he's meant to do. But he just doesn't very often speak, does he? So there you go. Isn't this good for the market to have a long short if it's going in one direction for a long period of time? To take isn't it good? But isn't this a good market to take a long stroke short if it's going in one direction for a long time? Yeah, if you know it's going in a direction for a long time, yeah, go long or short. But if we knew that, Virginia, we'd do it, wouldn't we? Yeah. So if you knew pound CAD was going to drop for 2 weeks in a trot, you'd go short on it. Why didn't you? Because you didn't know. This is the whole thing about trending markets, isn't it? Yeah, trend traders go, hey, look, I just made a 15R. Yeah, but you didn't tell me about the 25 stop losses you had before, because you're a trend trader and 80% of the time the market spends its time sideways, mean reverting. If we know something's going to trend, we will trend it. You can't tell anything's going to trend, can you? Because by the time you've identified a trend, you need to identify a trend, you need a breakout of a range, yeah, pullback, and a continuation. So by the time you've identified that trend has started, you've missed the start of the trend. If the trend only does 2 legs, all you're going to get is that. And then it's going to pull back. If you're going to go on a trend for multiple weeks, fantastic. But because you will have been stopped out so much trying to get into a trend, you'll have so much money to recoup, you will always take the profit there, and you never get that leg. Because you've got a load of money to make up, because trend traders get stopped out 70% of the time. That's why trend trading doesn't work. I've never met a trend trader that's actually managed to make any money. Maybe I'm just unlucky, but I've been doing this 15 years and I've never found a trend strategy that's actually successful. They will work long term. Yeah, if you backtest a trend trading strategy, there is an edge. Trouble is, traders cannot hold the edge because you will have so many stop outs, you won't be able to hold the winners. When those winners come, you won't be in them because you will have got out to pay for the losers, because your human brain is saying capital protection, capital protection. I've got my money back. I've got my money back. Oh, damn, I missed it. And then what you do is you get in late and you get stopped out again. Then it will make a range and you'll go, okay, I'm going to take the next breakout to try and get the trend started. And then you'll go into stop loss land again. And then you'll finally get a trend that pays for the stops you've had. And all you do is you go in this break even cycle. be ringing some bells, but that's what happens. My delivery's here, guys. I'm afraid I've got to disappear. Unless the wife's there. 1 second. Sorry, the wife's still here, so she's just going to take the delivery. But I have covered everything I was going to cover anyway, so I just don't have to rush and disappear and cut it short. AZ, early thoughts that reversal was going to be the beginning of the down move on the CAD Swiss. So yeah, CAD Swiss, I wouldn't say it isn't. Yeah. What are we forming? Uneven M pattern, or rather what you call a stop run M pattern. Yeah, so it's just an uneven double top bounce that we've got this morning. You're just about to get a reversal alert. Yeah, so you had a reversal alert there yesterday, a retest and drop. Yeah, so what you're forming now is a multi-day M pattern. So okay. DAX long. Yeah, we'll be going long on that. Morning, Gordy. They say follow the trend. The trend is your friend. Yeah, the trend is your friend. Definitely. But you won't be able to hold a trade in a trend because you'll be too scared about having the trend come to an end. The trend is your friend. If you just take longs in line with there's a trend strategy on the website. If you want to trend trade, no problem at all. I'm happy for people that want to do trend pullback trading. Nothing wrong with it. Just bear in mind that you will get either stopped out or go into squeezes in the opposite direction. Yeah. I'll show you a beautiful Aussie New Zealand trend trade. Look. Yeah, it's here. Look at that beautiful trend trade. Long, 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 dead, 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 dead. Yeah, that cancels out all of that because you're a trend trader. So what did you do? You went long there. What happened? You got squeezed to death and lost all the profits you made there. And don't say I would have flipped short there. You wouldn't have. If you would have, you'd have done it, but you didn't because it just doesn't work. You can buy every pullback. If you use a stop loss and buy every pullback, what you'll get killed by, I'll tell you what you get. I'll show you what you get killed by. What you get killed by is this. Yeah, that's a trend pullback long, stopped out. Trend pullback long, stopped out. Trend pullback long, got out because it looked like it was going to get stopped out. Missed it. Got in long, excellent. Trend pullback long, stopped out. Trend pullback long, stopped out. Trend pullback long. Oh, it's coming back down again. I better get out here because I've lost so much money there. I need to try and recoup some of it. Yeah. What you should have done is bought it here and got out there. Why didn't you? Because you can't hold it. Can't hold it. That's why it doesn't work. There's nothing wrong with a trend strategy. Yeah. You backtest a trend strategy. It's fantastic. You try and trade it. Can you hold it from the 10th of March until the 5th of October? No. Then you can't trend trade. Try it. I've tried it many times. I know lots of people that have tried it. But the trouble is when you get this and you sit there, right? So as a trend trader, let's say you took that pullback. So there is a market structure pullback. That's a 50% retracement stroke 61 retracement long. Reversal alert in there on the hourly chart would have given you a long signal and you would have taken it. Yeah. If you didn't take the profit there, it pulled back. So you completely break even this position because you're worried about getting stopped out on it. What happens? You get stopped out at break even. So that trend trade that you just took here, trend entry, yeah, stopped you out at break even. You haven't made any money. Let's say, for example, you left your stop under there. Okay, so you entered there long on the trend pullback. put your stop under that low, and you didn't break even your trade, and you let it come back down into basically break even, but your stop is still below the low, protecting your entry, right? And risking 1%, 0.5%, whatever it is. What happened next? You sat there for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks watching your trade go absolutely nowhere, making no money, not being able to pay the mortgage. Yeah. This is the problem with trend trading. In a range, whether you get stopped out or not, you don't make any money. 80% of the time, the market does this. Look at this move here. That high there, there, and there, and this low here, yeah, is a range. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 weeks. You sat in a range. How long were you trending for? Depends how much of that you class as a range. There's 3 weeks worth of range in there. There's 3 to 4 weeks worth of range in there within a trend. Yeah, this is why mean reversion works. If you're a mean reversion trader in this, I'm in, I'm out, 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 I'm milking it, I'm paying the mortgage. The trend traders are sitting there going, I wonder if it's ever going to break. How can you make money when the market spends 80% of its time going sideways? Investors, yes, I'm going to buy it here, I'm going to sell it later on in the year. No problem. They're not looking to make money to pay the mortgage. They're looking to return an investment on their account of somewhere between 5 to 15% a year. If you're going to do that, just trade the S&P, trade the indices, because they're manufactured to go up. Or hope that the Aussie New Zealand is up by the end of the year. That's how you make money trend trading. That's the only way you make money trend trading. Holding it long periods and sitting through absolute nightmares for weeks on end. Literally watching your P&L go plus 0.5%, down 0.5%, up 0.5%, down 0.5%. Can you imagine doing that for 6 to 8 weeks? Wouldn't you rather go in, out, bank a percent, in, out, bank a percent? Mean reversion. Yeah. Let's say you're trading the 70-30 RSI. Yeah. During that period. In, out, in, out. In, out, in, out, in, out. You see what I mean? You're making money all the time. And if it goes into a bit of a move where you get in and you don't get out, you get in again and then you get out. That's what position trading is. Yeah. As long as the market's doing normal stuff, doing normal market structure, either being range bound or trending in a market structure style, like we see virtually all the time, you're absolutely fine. But hold a trend, it's a skill that very, very, very few people possess. That's just my experience with it. Anyway, it looks good on paper, but God, try and trade it. The ICT shirt finally turned up. What? ICT shirt? What's that? But don't you have a reversal, EA? Yeah. Hey, Killian, it's Healthy FX. Welcome back. Good to see you. Glad you're scamming people as usual. What should I report them for today? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Pick a number between 1 and 8, somebody. Your delivery. Oh, no, the ICT shirt. No, that wasn't my delivery. That was the supermarket. Anybody pick a number between 1 and 8? Are we all that really far? 5. Okay, Rajiv, I'm just going to see what you're reporting them for. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ah, can't click on it. 5. Why has everybody picked 5? How weird is that look? Weird. You're all in tune, aren't you? 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Promotes terrorism. Bye-bye, Healthy FX. You have just promoted terrorism on the channel, apparently, according to my watchers. Not me. They said that, not me. Baggy chose number 3, which was child abuse. But we reported them for that yesterday, so ChatGPT should pick. Yeah. No, that's right. It's weird how you all said 5. How weird is that? Anyway, right, I'll leave it there. We'll see how we get on today with these pounds, but we are kind of stalling out a little bit on these pounds. They're not pushing as hard at the moment. I'm looking at a 4-hour chart here, obviously, but you can see the rate of decline, is potentially starting a rounding bottom. So if we're not going to get a market structure pullback, the other option is we're going to get a rounded bottom reversal, which is fine. And as long as it happens, the problem with it is it takes a hell of a lot longer, weeks to play out. So not the ideal reversal, but it is potentially starting on some of these pound pairs. The US dollar, though, is still pretty relentless. So we will see. We need some US dollar weakness. That's what we are after. How is the opening range breakout going on the DAX? Good. I'm not in it yet. So good, because I'm not in it. This morning's ORB. So if you took the pre-market 15, you went short, you got a gap fill, which I said, watch the gap fill, get out of the gap fill, because, or at least break even on it so you don't lose, because the gap fill is likely to be the bounce point today. If you took the 5-minute ORB today, you are long. Yeah, so it's probably better to look at the other platform because it's got the opening range breakout EA running on it. So there you go. So that's the 5-minute ORB. That blue line there and that blue line there. So that's your 5-minute initial cash balance candle. So you are long. I'm about to take a long on that high break. So, and we're looking for a push up into ADR today to do the gap fill from yesterday. So that's today's play, is the gap fill. Has EuroCAD put in a higher low on the hourly? You tell me. Yeah, possibly. So there's your reversal alert. High. The answer to that question will be revealed, AZ. Or you should know when it will be revealed. You will not know the answer to that question, and no one will know the answer to that question until either we break that high there or that low there. Yeah. So the answer to the question is, has EuroCAD put in a higher low? We will know if it's put in a higher low when we put in either a higher high or a lower low. So that higher low can only be a higher low if we manage to put in a higher high. Market structure cannot be completed until you have the leg in that shows you the higher low. This is the problem with market structure trading. Yeah. Again, it doesn't predict the future. It predicts two outcomes of the future. When you get a reversal in structure, a reversal alert, and you put in a new high and a pullback starts, that is only going to be the lower high in market structure if it pushes up. So it doesn't tell you which way price is going, obviously, but it tells you that there's a chance, if structure is breaking, which is a 50-50 shot, that this is it. That's what the reverse alert does. It gives you that indication of structure break. Only painting the history on the chart. It's not painting anything that tells you the future. Yeah, everybody here went, oh, look, we've had a reversal alert. Is this a higher low? Question answered, no. Because we put in a lower low. But it's a good question. Pound New Zealand nearly touching the 200 moving average on the daily. Don't know, don't really use it. But it's the 200. Look at that. I mean, you'd be hard pushed to find a sell-off like that. Just nuts, this pound. Totally crazy. But pound CAD, look. Absolute collapse. Last time we had a move like this, Yeah, I mean, we've had this as well. I mean, this is a hideous squeeze. We had a couple of these, and then we had old Liz Truss. Yeah, we'll see where we go. But we're looking for some kind of structure break on this at the moment. And it looks like we might be getting it. So there's your daily that I was saying about yesterday. There's that doji painted. Right. I'm going to leave it there today. CAD pairs seem very interesting over the last few days. Well, that's because of oil. We've put the brakes on oil, basically. Have you gone over CL already? No. So don't trade futures, but this is oil. I'm still waiting for the pullback, basically. I'm looking for if it gets into here today, I don't think it will because it's 150, 175 ADR, but we have got oil inventories. If we get into here today, I would be looking to buy it. OPEC restricting production, yeah. $95 a barrel. That's what I'm looking for. So I'm just looking for an entry and I want it deeper. This is not deep enough on that move. It needs to come down a bit more, I think. But who knows? All down to OPEC and what the Saudis decide to do with their production rates, basically. FTSE weakness potential incoming next week. See how the clown show plays out on Friday. Yeah. We got PCE on Friday and Michigan, but next week we've got obviously non-farm payroll. So we've got a fair bit of news next week. We've got the CPI for the Swiss. We've got the Aussie rates coming out. So there's a fair bit of news next week to look forward to. There's quite a few bank holidays next week as well. All over the place. Mainly China. China seems to be taking the entire week off. Obviously some holiday in China. But yeah, so we've got a fair bit of news coming out next week. We've got plenty of US dollar potential drops as well. Yeah, we got one tomorrow. So we've got the GDP and unemployment tomorrow. So that could start a move, you know, just playing that waiting game at the minute. So we will see. All right, I'll leave it there. I've got to go and do some other bits and pieces. So I'll be back this afternoon at 2:20 for the New York session. Back tomorrow morning as normal for the DAX. I'm going to take a break of the pre-market highs and go for that gap fill to the upside. Yesterday's high initial target and then gap fill second target. If it gets there, looks like it's about to trigger in a minute, hopefully. And then, yeah, we'll see how that's got on this afternoon. Didn't make any money yesterday on the US indices. Couldn't get out of the longs, basically. It just pushed down. What I should have done yesterday is get out at 5R. I intervened and got out too soon. So, but today is a different day. Okay, so have a good morning. I'll be back this afternoon. If you need anything, I'll be in the Telegram group. And obviously, we'll see how we get on today. We'll have a look at the FX pairs later this afternoon. Hopefully, this Swiss franc will have powered up like a crazy beast. The US dollar will have dropped and everything will be back to normal. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed, not thumbs up. All right, have a good day. I'll be back later at 2:20. If not, tomorrow morning, 7:50. See you then.